Sagicor Bank, supporting businesses with guidance and services to create the recipe for success. The Time by Sagicor Bank is 7.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Coming up in CVM News at 7, PIOJ says Jamaica not in a recession despite continued economic contraction. Fisherfolk face eviction from Jacob Taylor Beach in Silver Sands, Trelawney. Teachers say no. JTA delegates reject government's new wage proposal. Family seeks answers after relative's death in hospital. In Tech Pulse, tech drops making work feel like play. And later on in sports, no lacks of depth. 5 Jamaicans bag hat-tricks en route at Parla, qualifiers at Stadium East.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
CVM News at 7 Tuesday, brought to you by
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. KFC, it's finger licking good.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7 for Tuesday, August 18, 2026. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you for joining us. The Jamaican economy remains under pressure, with the PIOJ reporting another quarter of contraction. But there are signs of a turnaround, as the agency now expects the economy to return to pre-Hurricane Melissa output levels within 2 years. Here's Kevin Black.
Jamaican economy continued to contract between April and June, but the PIOJ says the pace of the decline is slowing. The economy shrank by an estimated 2.9% compared with the same period last year. The PIOJ says the lingering impact of Hurricane Melissa continued to weigh on economic activity. Agriculture contracted by 17%, while mining and quarrying fell by 23.9%.
Today, we are reporting that the Jamaican economy recording an estimated contraction of 2.9% compared with the corresponding quarter, April to June 2025. The outturn for the review quarter largely reflected the continued downturn in most industries due to the lingering impact of Hurricane Melissa. The hurricane led to an estimated decline in domestic demand as a result of a reduction in the employed labor force and lower levels of business and consumer.
But there are signs of a rebound. The economy grew by 3.3% between January and March compared with the previous quarter. The PIOJ also says Jamaica is not in a recession despite the year-on-year contraction.
The data indicates that for the January to March period, we actually recorded a growth of 3.3% relative to October to December of 2025. So yes, we can confirm that there is not a recession. We are not in a recession, and it's not likely that we'll experience one for the remainder of this year.
The PIOJ has also brought forward its expected recovery timeline. It now estimates that pre-Hurricane Melissa output levels could be restored within 1.5 to 2 years. That is earlier than the original 3-year projection.
We are confident that 1.5 to 2 years should be sufficient for the recovery. And this recovery, as the presentation pointed out, is only with respect to output levels. In terms of rebuilding general.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
Several fisherfolk and small business operators at Jacob Taylor Beach in Silver Sands, Trelawney, are facing eviction. The occupants say they were served 1-month notices by the Natural Resources Conservation Authority on Monday, ending years of occupation at the beach. Javoni Hamilton has more.
A notice on the door and 1 month to leave. For several fisherfolk and small business operators at Jacob Taylor Beach in Silver Sands, Trelawney, the order has left them facing an uncertain future. They state that the property owned by the Natural Resources Conservation Authority is required for a public purpose and to facilitate repairs and improvements. But for Juliet Plummer, the notice is another attempt to remove her from a beach she has called home for almost 3 decades.
My son raised here, I have a son, he raised here from 2-year-old. He was here. And every time they tried to take us off this beach. The last time they came, it was Patrick Atkinson. 1 month notice. And they didn't come back. And now see there's a notice on my door this morning.
For the fishermen, the threat of eviction is also a threat to their livelihood. Now, they are desperately calling for government intervention.
This is really devastating to know that we received a letter this morning to state that we have 1 month to leave this beach. And of course, we don't want to see a recurrence of what happened last week in Cooper's Pen. And it seems as if, and one thing I've been calling on the government to intervene in this, and we want to find out, because the government is saying that they know nothing about these private sectors that has been going around and controlling beaches, and we want to find out today that what is happening. We want the intervention of the MP, Ms. Tova Hamilton. We are calling on you. We are calling for intervention today to find out what is going on for our beach.
Our people are the nicest people, but our people have nothing at all. Nothing. And the little that we have, you want to take it away? Mr. Andrew Owens, I'm saying to you, please come and talk to us.
For those who have spent decades on the beach, the eviction notice is more than a demand to leave. It is a blow to the community they say they built, maintained, and dependent on for generations.
I'm here for over 35 years. I'm a fisherman. I'm the vice president of the Fisherman Association, which we have already registered a group, and everyone here come together and form an association. But for over 35 years, we are the one who is maintaining the beach. All this place was woodland. I mean, no one couldn't have walked down and have anywhere to go. It was like all bush, garbage, everything. This is senseless, it's foolish. And this morning, my heart break, everyone down here, heart break, because this is not the way to go at it. You know, we feel like we're on a place that we are taking care of, maintaining, and then we have been kicked or trying to be kicked off it. Over 35 years.
With 1 month to leave, a community built by the sea is fighting to hold its ground. CVM News contacted NEPA for answers. The agency says it's checking the relevant channels, but up to news time, they did not reply. Javani Hamilton, CVM News.
Meanwhile, persons occupying land without registered titles may still have legal rights under Jamaica's adverse possession laws, but there are specific requirements they must meet. Senior Counsel Anthony Williams explains what those requirements are and what could affect a claim to the land. Carla Ramdeen has more.
Senior Counsel Anthony Williams says persons occupying parcels of land without registered titles may still have legal rights under Jamaica's adverse possession laws, provided they can satisfy the requirements set out in the relevant legislation.
If a person can prove that they occupied possession of a property for 12 years, undisturbed, unmolested, peaceful, quiet, over those periods, then they can make a claim for adverse possession. Now, in order to qualify as well for adverse possession, the person must be in physical possession of the land. They must actually occupy the land. There are persons who are overseas and they just put in an application for adverse possession, or even persons in Jamaica, they're in another parish and they say, well, you know, I've not seen anyone on that land for over 12 years, and they claim that they are entitled to adverse possession. That's not so. You have to be physically present on the land and doing things on the land.
Mr. Williams says any disruption during those 12 years while occupying the land will affect their chances of possessing the land.
So if someone is living on the land for 10 years or 11 years, only 1 year to go, just one, if the landlord or the owner or their servants or agents come in the 11th year with only 1 year to go and did something, and that something is some slight act to disturb the person's quiet enjoyment, then regrettably and unfortunately that would constitute a disturbance. Therefore, automatically that 11 years that the person was on the land would come to an end because their disturbance was disturbed. And therefore, they would have to start all over. Another 12 years would start all over.
He also explains that people who are given permission to occupy land, including tenants or licensees, generally cannot claim adverse possession, as their occupation is not considered hostile to the owner's title. Mr. Williams added that paying property taxes on its own does not guarantee ownership of the land.
We're not saying that you will not be aided, but simply paying the taxes is not it at all. There have to be more.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues in just a moment.
Employers, once a month, you have the power to shape Jamaica's future. By paying your hard 3% contribution, you're not just contributing, you're investing in people, in skills, in our economy. Your Heart contribution trains working-age Jamaicans, aligns programs with workforce needs, and secures our future. That's not just contribution, it's transformation. Contribute to Heart and to your future.
KFC Summer Bucket.
Chicken, Macadillo, super chicken.
This KFC bucket deal has you thinking chicken. Get the summer bucket for $4,700.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Center.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Questions are being raised this evening about the care received at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital following the death of a patient 5 days ago. Her family says more could have been done to assist her. More in this report from Carla Ramdeen.
More could have been done. That was the cry of a relative of Kenise Dunn, who died at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital 5 days ago. The relative says the care and procedures needed to determine the cause of Dunn's illness were not done in time to help her.
Any patient that comes in complaining of not having a bowel movement in certain days, certain time period, it's something that any medical personnel, it's like a red flag. We all know that. Even for myself, we're not just gonna have the symptoms right away and go to the hospital just like that. I mean, there's people who does that, but not typically. So she must have been having issues with constipation before it reached this fact, right? The other thing is that she was in the hospital for over 3 weeks and the right procedures were not taken. It just didn't happen.
She says other avenues could have been explored to determine the cause of Dunn's illness.
An ultrasound is not going to detect an obstruction of the bowel because of the baby, and also because of all the organs being compressed because of, they're making space for the baby. So an ultrasound will not be effective. An X-ray of the abdomen would have been more appropriate. That probably would have shown it, but the best thing they could have done was an MRI, or even better yet, or the best thing to do was to do a CT scan. A CT scan would have shown them where the blockage is and why it's there, what's the cause of it.
For the family, she says, the loss feels like history repeating itself after another relative died in a similar circumstance some years ago.
It feels like a deja vu, like history is repeating itself. And it's a very devastating time right now for us. She was admitted into St. Anne's Bay Hospital and died at, I think it was Portmore Hospital. So yes, it's very devastating. For us, it's just like the whole thing is cleaned back again.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
Kenise Dunn's relative is a medical practitioner who resides overseas. In other news now, the Jamaica Teachers Association has brought a new wage offer from the government to their union's highest decision-making forum on Monday, and that deal was rejected. The two have been at loggerheads for months now, negotiating on claims brought before the Finance Ministry to improve conditions of the nation's teachers. Natasha Williams has this CVM News follow-up.
The Jamaica Teachers Association has received a new offer from the government.
That offer will be dealt with here at conference. Delegates will have the opportunity to examine it carefully, consider what has been achieved, determine what remains outstanding, if any. Through the democratic processes of this association, we will decide what our formal response will be.
That announcement from Jamaica Teachers Association's immediate past president, Mark Malava, on Monday, and by Tuesday afternoon, the teachers had spoken.
The decision of the teachers of the nation, of the 213 members present in the room, 155 of those members present rejected what the government currently have on offer to the teachers of this nation. 54 of them said yes, and we had a spoiled ballot and 3 rejected.
Harrison briefly outlined what was included in the government's new wage offer.
In terms of basic salary, what has been offered to the teachers, that which the similar, well, same, you can't get more really, that which was offered to the Joint Confederation of Trade Unions, so the 80,000 one-off payment in the first year, that seems to be tax-free. Yes, that will be tax-free. Then a 5% movement in years 2 and year 3. For all other bands, there is a little unique situation concerning two particular bands, and so things are a little different for them, but the same minimum increase on basic salary that applies to all other members of the public sector applies to us as teachers.
Ms. Harrison notes that their next step is to formally write the Finance Ministry on the teachers' stance while requesting a meeting for further deliberation.
Nothing for the teachers of this nation has ever come easy. Nothing. We've always had to struggle. And so the struggle continues. We will continue to have those conversations with the Ministry of Finance for them to come to an understanding that there are some matters that are quite important to the teachers that they need to reflect on and certainly move in another direction.
The new JTA boss says matters concerning uniform policy for public sector workers, graduate allowance, and better working conditions for teachers continue to be lingering issues that the JTA will press the Finance Ministry to improve. Natasha Williams, CVM News.
Jamaica yesterday marked 139 years since the birth of national hero Marcus Mosiah Garvey. But questions remain about whether the country is doing enough to live out his ideals. Poet and Garveyite Casey Garvey says Jamaica's recognition of Garvey often stops at ceremonies and titles without fully embracing his ideas on economic empowerment, self-reliance, and nation building.
I think we have a very shallow reflection on who he is. We just kind of casually look at the fact that, okay, he was a national hero and that's it. But we don't look at the fact that, again, what he did at the time was absolutely revolutionary, because he wasn't just talking about the political issues or the social issues. He was trying to develop an economic engine to sustain those. So I think just how comprehensive his approach was, I don't think that's fully appreciated. And I don't think we've actually taken on some of his approaches into some of our policy.
And while Garvey's legacy is often associated with black pride and self-reliance, public commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang says his influence went much further. Chang argues that Garvey helped transform the minds of ordinary people and inspired a wider movement that continued to shape Jamaica long after his death.
I'm a person who believes in fighters, especially those fighting for the downtrodden, and those are the type of people I'm attracted to, who fight, overcome, and uplift people. And what I think about Marcus Garvey that Jamaicans don't realize, the 1938 labor rebellion that transformed Jamaica, a lot of those people involved were Garveyites. Kid William Grant was a Garveyite, and many of them who were prominent in the movement were Garveyites. So it's not just a person you're talking about. You're talking about the influence, how he influenced others around him who carried on his legacy. Even while he left and died and thing, people carried on what he stood for. So he's not just a man you're talking about. You're talking about somebody who transformed the minds of people directly and indirectly.
Still on transformation of the mind, the rising cost of education continues to place financial pressure on Jamaican families. But several students are getting much needed relief as Courts Jamaica Limited has awarded scholarships to help ease the cost of pursuing their studies. Crystal Williams tells us more.
The awards were officially handed over during a ceremony, bringing together the scholarship recipients, their family members, and a representative of Courts Jamaica Limited. Managing Director of Courts Jamaica Limited, Anne-Marie Walters, says the scholarship program is about more than financial assistance, urging the recipients to recognize the possibilities ahead and pursue their goals with determination.
Never allow your circumstances to convince you that your dreams are too big. Where you come from does not determine where you go. The challenges that you face today do not define the story of your tomorrow. Your dreams are valid. Your potential is real. And your determination, discipline, and courage are the right support that you need to achieve.
Walters also highlighted the company's long-standing investment in education, pointing to the reach of the program and the number of students supported over the years.
In 2011-2010, we started with our Dare to Dream program. However, that precedes we started in 1986 in terms of education development. We invested over 200 million and over 900 students benefited.
Meanwhile, guest speaker Georgia Crawford Williams challenged the scholarship recipients to look beyond their individual achievements and consider how their education can help shape Jamaica's future.
Dream for your country. You should dream about what you're going to contribute overall to this great nation. What can you do to make this country better? Are you not offer great? We start just giving back to the same community that you come from. You guys have done well.
The scholarship recipients now have additional support as they pursue their academic goals, with Courts Jamaica reaffirming its commitment to investing in education and the development of the nation's future leaders. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
We take a break. Stay with us.
Begins with a single step, but the road ahead is rarely straight. We've walked with Jamaicans home and abroad through struggles and aspirations. We've helped you find your way. No matter where you are, no matter what lies ahead, together we move forward always.
Strong and free, building hope and legacy. Change room on your journey.
Me and the stylist, no scam and style me.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you common sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress. You charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early? But Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans one episode at a time.
Grandpa, it's 2026. You can't keep hiding all your money in every single pocket forever.
So get up and unite for your team. Give the best we've got. It's how we every preach, every part, every deal, every wicked, every soul. And the heart and soul and passion, and the culture, Caribbean flows. When plans come out all nation, beautification. When the stadium ram bleach at the grandstand, not the meaning of beautification. It's how we play. It's how we play. When the stadium ram bleach at the grandstand, not the meaning of beautification. It's how we play.
KFC Summer Bucket. This KFC bucket deal has you thinking chicken. Get the summer bucket for $4,700.
The time by KFC is
7:30.
Thank you so much for staying with us. As children head back to school, a pediatrician is warning parents that what happens outside the classroom can also affect how children learn inside it. She's highlighting the impact of screen time, the importance of exercise, and knowing when a child is too sick for school. We hear more in this report.
Consultant pediatrician at Cornwall Regional Hospital, Dr. Tracy Evans Gilbert, is highlighting several factors that can affect a children's learning as they return to school. She is focusing on digital health, particularly screen time, which she says can negatively affect children.
The first thing that it can impact is their sleep time, because when they have problems sleeping, it is because they're on their device for extended period of time. And poor sleep has been linked to poor academic performance. So it is really, really important that we set up some sleep hygiene cycles leading up 1 week or 2 weeks before the school year to get the children back into the rhythm, because we want them to do well. In children who are under 2, excessive screen time can impair their language. And so it's really important for parents to know this, that if they give their children the screen, you're actually not helping them. You're doing your child a disservice, because learning to speak is important when you interact, see faces, interact with other persons and not a screen.
Dr. Evans Gilbert says parents should set boundaries around screen use while encouraging exercise to help limit the time children spend on devices.
There should be areas where there's no screen being used. For example, when you're eating, when you're doing your homework, when you're sleeping. These are important things. And also we should make time for exercise, at least an hour a day. From ages 2 to 5, 1 hour of quality screen time is recommended. And 6 years and older, 2 hours. And that 2 hours goes all the way up to us adults. We have a problem with our screen time too. Children learn from what they see.
Meanwhile, she's also urging parents to look out for signs of illness, saying children who are sick should stay home and be treated before returning to school.
There are some infectious diseases that require that children not be in school. For example, if they have fungal infections on their skin or scalp, if they have lice, these things are highly contagious, and so if those skin infections are present, you should not take them to school and allow them to be treated before they return to school. Other contagious diseases are, for example, diarrheal illnesses. So if your child is having diarrhea, don't send them to school. Let them stay home with auntie or the helper or whoever, because once they go to school, the infection can spread to other children and cause them to miss school.
Natasha Williams, CVM News.
And at just 31 years old, Jamaican entrepreneur Chavez Allen is making waves in finance and technology. Through his company Zippy Technologies and its parent, Billionaire Holdings, Allen is positioning himself as one of the region's boldest innovators, using Fintech to connect everyday people with tools that build trust and opportunity.
Chavez Allen's fintech offerings are designed to bridge the gap between the small man and the wider global economy. His platforms promise transparency, accessibility, and trust. Qualities, he says, are critical for third world markets, often excluded from traditional financial systems.
Investors overseas will want to go into the local markets to invest, but
they don't know the people. It's it's a little bit difficult. There's no trust there for the fact that there's no solid credit system similar to how you would have the US have their credit system that you can actually run a check on somebody and get real data or real-time data. What we built is a system that utilizes your transaction patterns, your device patterns, and just overall your facial identity, or your body identity, to create trust.
Through Zippy Technologies, Allen has already attracted attention for innovative payment solutions and digital platforms that simplify transactions. Backed by Billionaire Holdings, he's expanding his reach, aiming to scale across the Caribbean and beyond.
So we're utilizing biometrics, we're utilizing just a full data-driven solution based on your transaction and just based on your patterns to create trust between individuals and themselves, or individuals and other institutions, or individuals and other individuals, right? So that's the trust aspect of stuff. And now the financial infrastructure part of things is, I cannot be in Jamaica or a local country. For example, I was in Dominican Republic the other day, and none of the ATMs work. And in Jamaica, none of the ATMs work also. And I'm like, whoa, this is a problem that everyone is facing, where ATMs don't work. Handling cash is so risky. You can just go down the road and somebody rob you.
Allen's rise underscores a new generation of Jamaican entrepreneurs who are blending technology with social impact. His message is clear. Fintech isn't just about profit. It's about inclusion, empowerment, and reshaping how communities engage with money.
Think of a jerk chicken man on Red Hills Road right now. They're transacting and they're making so much money on a day-to-day basis, weekly basis, right? Why is it that they're not able to expand? They're not able to access the traditional financing that other institutions who are structured or educated on how to do this, have done. And nobody's going there to actually teach them. So what we've done is that based on your transaction history or your day-to-day volume, we have brought international investors in. We've made so many great partnerships since we've been in America, since we've been in the US, and since we've been traveling globally to a lot of first world countries, where we're able to bring a massive amount of funding to the region, and all people have to do is just come onto our platform and just do what they do on a day-to-day basis, which is transact.
Tomorrow, we'll share more about this young entrepreneur scaling it big across well over 50 countries and just what he hopes to achieve in the region.
We'll hear now from Matthew Wright with regional and international news.
We begin with news in St. Lucia. Minister for Education Kenson Casimir is expressing disagreement with the decision by the Caribbean Examinations Council (CXC) to remove school-based assessments (SBAs), arguing that they remain an essential part of St. Lucia's education system. DBS TV has the details.
Casimir further stresses that critical thinking is dying within St. Lucia's education system, noting that deficit even bleeds into daily public discourse. He adds that SBS addressed this issue by instilling core analytical skills in students.
Some of the most trivial topics, there's just not much analysis other than what somebody just said, or repeating something that perhaps an individual who is of a particular mindset. And some of those components of our education system is very important.
Now to international news, as Germany has carried out its first raids under a new law to crack down on smugglers, using the country as a staging post for small boat crossings on the English Channel. More from the BBC.
Migrant and enforcement sources say tougher policing in Europe is helping to disrupt supply chains, possibly a factor driving some smugglers to put more people onto bigger boats, as gangs find new ways to evade and adapt.
And finally, the Tupac Shakur trial is underway 30 years after the rapper's murder in 1996. Speaking on the opening day of the murder trial, prosecutors said Dwayne Keith D. Davis ordered the killing, but did not carry it out, in revenge for the attack on his relative. Here's an inside look coming from Sky News.
The prosecution accepts that Davis didn't pull the trigger, but they say he orchestrated the killing, that it was revenge for an attack earlier that night on Davis's nephew, where Tupac appeared to kick the man on the ground. The defence team is desperate to distance Davis from those statements. They've taken the unusual approach of characterising their own client as a liar, saying he embellished stories for entertainment.
And that's a wrap for regional and international news. I'm Matthew Wright.
Stay with us for sports right after the break.